Hi chess kids, this is Mr. Konishek to go over another one of our online chess tournament games on chesskid.com. And I've been noticing a lot of improvement lately, especially from the players who've been playing consistently and doing more puzzles and just getting more time playing. And the amount of improvement is really fun to watch. And I hope everybody keeps playing. When you get to be old like me, I'm sure that you'll be a very good player and you can enjoy the game and pass it along to others. So we're going to go over a game here. This is a wild game between Patzermax and Tiny Organic, PastWildPenny, I should say. And Patzermax was in white and then PastWildPenny in black. So let's go ahead and take a look at this game here. So both players just do a good job of bringing their minor pieces out into the open. Pawns and bishops, pretty standard opening, and you can see both sides are ready to castle. Patzermax gets his queen out kind of early. One option could be taking the pawn, but it might be better not to try and snatch pawns and just to further development. Bringing the queen out early again takes away development from knights and bishops. We want to develop good development from both sides, so the king side as well as the queen side. Usually you're not going to want to bring the queen out so early unless you know there's going to be a quick checkmate. So a castling move for black, and then Patzermax is really attacking the king side early here. So again, he's got his knight aimed at the king side pawns, f7 as well as h7 here, looking for some options. Black is pretty well defended, being castled, and then he has his king's pawn out here, blocking f7, or a straight-on attack by the queen. So no attack there. He's castled anyway. But Patzermax, he's got a diagonal threat from the bishop. He's got the knight out, and the queen maybe looking to get into the action. So one thing I will say about Patzermax is that he wastes no time in putting pressure on the opponent, and lots of times that can force the opponent to make errors. However, if the opposing player is experienced, they're going to know how to defend it early on, and not developing pieces can cost. So let's go ahead and take a look at some more. Okay, so wanting to break up this diagonal attack, d5. Questionable move, computer says, but I kind of like just breaking up the middle attack here. Another option could be just developing the knight, and I think it would be okay, but let's see how this plays out. Okay, so Patzermax attacks with the bishop first, wanting to continue here, but we can see that black has two defenders. So when we're looking at taking pieces, the crucial square right now is d5, and if we count the defenders here, black has the knight and the queen both defending here. If we attack first, we're going to be down material. What may have been better would be just to take with the lesser piece, take with the pawn. That way, if black were to take back, okay, that would be a mistake. So for white, instead of taking with your minor piece there, with the more important piece, take with the lesser piece, take with the pawn, and that way there's a better chance of coming out of this okay. So taking the piece here, so now we can see that there's 1 and 2, the knight and the queen, both here aimed at the bishop, where the white only has its pawn. So black plays this correctly. It takes the bishop, so takes the pawn, and then that leaves the knight exposed. So you would think, oh, taking the pawn to win it back, but the knight is hanging here. Oops. I back up a little bit here. And black is up early here in this game. So if we look at this position here, black is castled. It's got a minor piece out, got a pawn in the middle, and the queen. And then white has a pawn. Queen is kind of backed up and blocking the king, not a great position. And then we have no minor pieces. The queen side is not quite developed yet. So let's continue here. Okay, d4, and this pawn, let's see, probably just given away here, I would think, right? So d4, giving way for the queen to go ahead and to get this bishop just kind of hanging here. Black misses it, takes the bishop out, and aims it at the queen. Okay, so we've got two bishops aimed at each other here, and since it's white's move, I think that white would have the advantage here. So here we've got white attacking. So let's play it out a little bit. So if it's white to play, white goes ahead and takes the queen. Black takes back, and then the bishop is taken, and white comes out of that much better than black does, and regains a lot of momentum and material. So for black here, I think maybe not chasing around a queen. Queens are hard to chase around the board. It does develop the bishop here, but again, this bishop can be easily backed off, and so we got a pretty critical part in the game here where a lot of material could be taken off the board. So the bishop is taken. King to f3 is a blunder here. Leaves the bishop or the rook exposed. I think maybe we were thinking about taking the queen, but it's black's to play. Calls it an inaccuracy, but we can see here this queen is somewhat trapped, but with a chance just to get out of this by taking the h2 pawn. But here, black is in a really good position here. The king side is heavily attacked. Black has more material out in the middle of the board, and the king is getting dangerously exposed. Okay, playing through here. What moves we could have played? Let's see here. We had taken up here. Bishop was just hanging here for white. Black's still doing okay. Probably better would have been just for black just to take this pawn here. In closing in here, so just another piece to attack with, another pawn. So go ahead and moving through here a little bit. Okay, so we have here a blunder by black. Queen here is exposed. So when white took the bishop, opportunity here for black to take the rook. All right, and then also attacking the knight, and black would have looked really, really good there. Black still right now looks really good, but missing this by taking a pawn, white finds themselves back in the game and now actually gaining a lot of momentum here. So now we can see the tables are turned a little bit with white with 2 pawns out in the middle and black just with the pawn, an isolated pawn on the other side of the board. So not much activity here in the middle for black. No pressure here, and this is going to allow white to really just take advantage of the board here. So as we play through here, some mistakes here for both sides, but we can see that white's really just taking advantage here since black has no pieces out. We could go back and see that black here, knight's untouched. This rook here is not in the game and not really doing much. So we do want to get developed here, whereas white has an active rook and queen and is really starting to attack. The only active piece out here for black is a rook. We had an opportunity here for an attack. So one opportunity, if I back up here, we have a rook that could take control of this H file, and then a chance here for a backdoor mate. So was this mate in 2? Let's see here. No, it's not, because we have rook could have played and to protect with a lot of chances here for white. Yeah, if he had taken here, he could have marched this pawn down, taking advantage of this rook that's not connected. So one of the things that does hurt black here is that these rooks are not what we call connected. So if this knight gets developed, all of a sudden these rooks are connected, and it's a much different scenario here. So backing up to the game. Okay, I can see here that white really wants to take advantage of a battery checkmate here. Okay, so again, black not developing his piece is hurting right now. Moving through some moves here. Okay, so we have a blunder here. So I think we have a pawn that was available to be taken. Maybe another move here. Takes here. Actually, you know what? Let me back it up here. What am I looking at? So we had the knight here attacking the queen. Queen moves on over here. And playing through here. Check. And we can see here white's just adding some pressure here. Okay. And from here, it's a queen versus pawns. And you're going to see white should be able to take care of this game here. So one thing maybe for white, instead of letting black have a chance of maybe advancing some pawns, is just we're okay on this side of the board. Just maybe just taking care of these pieces over here, taking care of the pawns on this side of the board, not giving black any opportunity to advance. But playing through this game here, white had a chance here to just take. And really could have marched this pawn down. And it would have been checkmate. Black can't get back out of it. So both players are doing a good job of attacking. I think looking for attacks. I think one thing that we want to look for is getting both sides of the board developed. So at the beginning of the game, both players did develop their king side, and we can see that. But both players on their queen side need to get developed as well. So leaving important pieces, bishops and knights and rooks, untouched. We want to get more pieces involved into the game. But I enjoy seeing both players improve, and I look forward to watching them play again.